Achievement unlocked. 2 players and a podcast now loading.
Welcome back, Dreamers and Flam family. This is 2 Peas in a Podcast, brought to you by GeneralAndrews and
Flibbityflam.
And we are sponsored by the 8-Bit Dojo and ESN, where we aim to be selfless, not selfish. This is episode 5 of season 2. Why co-op speedruns are more fun than solo speedruns, at least for me. And learning speedruns, understanding your learning style. All right, so Flibbityflam, my dude.
Hello.
Hello. So co-op speedruns, man. Are you down for that or what?
I just did my very first co-op speedrun this last Friday.
All right. Tell me about it. You know I'm excited about this topic.
I know you are. I've been wanting to do it for a really long time.
Yes, that's very true.
I couldn't find the right people that were in the right proximity, and even then, like finding a run too was really hard.
On top of that, correct.
And then lethargic Waldo, he came to me and was like, "Hey, you wanna run RE5?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Man, it's funny because I would not have considered a Resident Evil game to be a co-op style game in my head, especially from a speedrun aspect. So, tell us a little bit about that. What are you doing in that kind of game to be, tandeming?
So RE5 is like the first iteration of their co-op. The first time they went to co-op, and it was fantastic. Like it's like RE5. It's like RE5 is a lot like the other Resident Evil games, where it's a lot of inventory management. It's a lot of knowing where to go, the pathing, and then quick kills on the bosses, obviously, and knowing exactly what you need and when you need it.
Okay. So is there a lot of RNG on item drops then?
So like no.
Okay,
because everything is pretty set. We have a gem route that we do to get enough money for things, because you can buy rocket launchers in this game.
That's gotta be nice.
So we just buy a bunch of rocket launchers to be able to quick kill all the bosses.
Yeah. So are you seeing an tournament rocket launcher percent?
Yeah, well,
start blowing everything up with rocket launchers.
That's New Game Plus, apparently, that gives you unlimited ammo.
Oh,
and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so we decided we're doing, what's it called again? It's amateur new game.
Okay. Very cool.
It's the lowest difficulty, but that doesn't mean it's not difficult.
That's what people like. It's funny how, for example, for Turtles 4, I run that with DOS Postman, and that was actually my second game that I ever started co-op speedrun with someone. Yeah. But it's got 3 different difficulties. So a lot of people assume easy, normal, hard. Well, that means it's easy and then normal and then hard. And it's like, no, maybe from a casual standpoint, but once you're speedrunning it, like you said, it's about routing. It's about quick boss kills. Mm-hmm. It's about being in the right place at the right time. Thankfully, Turtles 4 does not have any kind of menu optimization or any inventory management as a part of it.
Nice.
That part is nice. However, the drawback is that it's constant action, which means no rest on your combos. It's all combo oriented. Which, again, I find it to be a fun element to it, but it's its own version of difficult, where, like you were saying, just because it's easy doesn't mean that category speedrunning it wise is easy to do fast.
Yeah. It's like people associate difficulty with, like, what difficulty it's on. That's how difficult it is, right? But then you add speedrunning into it, and it's a whole different monster on its own.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, with the whole different monster on its own, because what I do for a lot of my food breaks, I'm sure as you know, is that I'll put on some old speedruns so people have something to watch, right? Something to entertain themselves. And so someone last night was watching and had seen that that's how you guys do the co-op Chip and Dale speedruns. And I do that one with Sinister 1, that they're like, oh, so that's how you cheese the game. And I'm thinking back in my head, like, It's so much more complicated than just cheesing the game in that sense. Like the timing has to be just right to make it, to not just do that, but to go fast doing that as well.
Yeah.
And it was just, I read that commentary, I just laughed to myself. I didn't have to say anything. I was just like, oh man, go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Try it.
That's how we cheat the game. Sure. That's exactly it.
Mm-hmm. That's it. It's super easy. Just go.
Yeah. It's on an NES. You only got 2 buttons.
Dude, how many levels? 8 levels. Easy.
Come on.
So yeah, it's great when you bring that up because I'm like, oh yep, I just heard that last night, and it's again, my assumption is not that they're saying it in a negative light, like some commentary could be. It's just funny where it's like, oh, that's how you do it. It's like, I wish I could explain to you better. It's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. There's frame rules and so many different things. What I've learned from like the RE series and learning that with Waldo is that the most RE speedrunners, they do it on professional, which is like the hardest setting, because enemies are a little more consistent in what they do.
It's okay. I'm so glad you said that again. So it's funny when you look at easy, normal, and hard, where like for turtles, I don't know if there's like an easy, normal, hard version also for RE, if it's just easy versus hard.
Yeah, I think there's a middle difficulty.
Is there normal?
Yeah.
Okay. And where the reason a lot of people choose the hard difficulty, at least from the solo runners, is the consistency of the enemy's initial movement, right? You're like, oh, I know it's going to do that every time. While on like normal in the Turtles ones is that like easy, they're super passive.
Yeah.
In hard, they're super aggressive. Normal, sometimes they're passive, sometimes they're aggressive. And that messes with you. Because you're expecting the guy to be in a specific spot. Instead, he's hanging just off the screen. And you're like, stop mocking me.
Where are you going?
Get over here.
Come back. I need you to roll the screen. Please come back.
I need to defeat you. Let me blow up your robot body. Go away. So I'm glad you brought that up because, again, that's another element that it's like, you have to consider what matters more to you when you're doing it. Do you want the game to be a little bit shorter of a run? Because usually for when you pick an easy, normal, and difficult, that also scales enemies' health or enemies, total enemies, especially in a co-op sense, right? Because usually co-op sense is they're adding extra enemies for you to deal with.
To compensate for another player.
Yes, to compensate for the fact there's another person on the screen that's going to be doing just as much or more damage, depending what strategies are in play. And so like it's so cool to pay attention to all these different idiosyncrasies per difficulty, where it's like it feels like it's a new run, even though it's not. You feel very comfortable with the physics and like what you're supposed to be doing, let's say in that game, because you're doing a lot of aiming, right, and quick shots.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That to me sounds so stressful to do these quick shots right. Like I was never good at that as a kid. I loved like the Duke Nukem 3D series growing up. I was just always about, chewing bubble gum and kicking some ass, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wait, I'm all out of gum.
And there's no more gum.
And put on those God codes and just firing everywhere because I wasn't a very good shot, But
yeah,
exactly. It was fun to blast.
If I have unlimited ammo, that means one of these, the spray and pray method, one of these bullets will hit them eventually, right?
It's an alien. Who knows what kills? I'm just firing everywhere at this point.
I was actually really worried about the aiming of like the rocket launchers too, because the rocket launcher is like super duper clunky, but there's a neat little trick to it that we found to be super easy, and they don't explain it in the run, but it's easy to see. So they aim with another gun, and then as soon as you switch to the rocket launcher, it keeps your aiming where you were aiming.
No way.
Before. Yeah. So you switch to the rocket and you just launch a rocket just like that, and it keeps the aiming. Perfect. It is the coolest freaking trick.
That is so cool because like it makes me think of like what you're doing is you're kind of layering the game on top of itself to take advantage of those small little tricks.
Yeah.
Just like in Zelda Link's Awakening, you're not supposed to be able to put a bomb and an arrow down at the same time necessarily, because who would think to do that? But it actually fires the bomb on top of it to make it a bomb arrow. And it's like, oh my God, I just saved a ton of time because I can do this in motion. I don't have to put it down, wait for it to do its thing. It just throws it into whatever blows up. So when you said that's what I picture, like, oh, that's pretty cool. You're just layering that, and then you can take advantage of what is the maximum speed and efficiency. That's pretty cool.
So I like co-op speedruns now.
Okay, yeah. Now, what so far have you found? Maybe because it's still too early in the co-op run, because it's you guys have only completed what, 3 runs, 4 runs, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Have you found anything that you don't like about co-op speedrunning?
Anything I don't like. Not yet.
Right. Okay.
I think most of my gripes are about the run in general, and that there's not a whole lot of information. There's no guides, so we had to do a lot of research on our own for all that stuff.
I know those days.
Yeah. And then what else? We have to do it online too. So
right.
Ari,
you don't live next to Waldo.
Yeah, I don't live next to Waldo. I live close to Waldo, but like not close enough that I can just be up every other weekend.
Right.
So sometimes the RE5 servers or something, or Steam will go down. Like that happened to us in practice once, and it just went down all of a sudden. It didn't come back up for like 30-40 minutes.
And that's an energy killer right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of a bummer.
Okay. So nothing really directly co-op related. It's more kind of the other idiosyncrasies of the games where you're just like, like for me, my biggest gripe is the fact that just timing, right? Like to get someone to be able to consist, like once you start getting better and better at a game, you want to play just a little bit more because you need more reps now.
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, some games, like thankfully, with both Chip and Dale and Turtles for myself, that I'm able to just kind of jump back into it so quickly with either Sin or Posty that now it's less of an issue. But yeah, it's just always like, oh man, okay, so when can we? All right, cool. Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're not free that day. Damn. Okay. So this day, the girlfriend's okay with that. Okay, cool. Sweet.
Perfect.
And trying to like that, because trying to navigate all these times. Like if I was a kid again, it was like, dude, what do you do after school, man?
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh yeah, we got to meet up after school and play video games. Like, there's no after school anymore.
Right. So it's not the same thing where it's like, oh, dude, I'll meet you over here, man. Yeah, let's go. Let's play. Your house or my house? I got bagel bites.
Oh shit! Bagel bites. Thomas' mom's got bagel bites.
Oh man. And then you go in the room and you want to play, and of course it's only on the one TV, because back then, right, it was a big deal to even have a console or a TV anywhere in your house. It felt like, and it's like you go out there and it's like your brother's watching Thomas the Tank Engine. You're like, damn it, he loves this show. I can't get him off here to finish this episode.
Oh, you were a nicer brother than me. I would have dragged him off of there by his hair and be like, we're playing video games.
I mean, it all depends, right? I'm thinking of certain instances when I'm bringing a friend over, because I'm like, now I'm already walking on eggshells. I have a friend over at the house. I've already got what I wanted. I can't push the envelope. Now, if it was just me waking up that day, I'd be like, what the hell, man? You've been watching like 10 episodes in a row, but I got 10 more. Oh, come on, man. Can you put the VHS in for me? Ah, fine.
I will.
And you go and grab those VHSs out of their sleeves, and you're like, I gotta put this back in here. So
then I gotta rewind it.
Oh, don't even remind me about the rewind. Jeez. Sometimes you felt like you were breaking it because you rewound it too fast. You're like, whoops, I'm sorry. But yeah, I really dig the co-op speedrunning element, because it feels so cool to almost have those what do you call it, the when you fall backwards and you're hoping someone catches you, the
trust fall, or
the trust fall. I mean, it's so trust folly in so many spots, because you're not supposed to cover everything on the screen, right? That's why it's a co-op speed run. And there's times you try to help back up your friend, because like they miss once in a while, right? It just happens. You can't, when you're doing all the co-op runs, there's so many more inputs that are going to be put across the screen.
Oh yeah.
Does that mean the game is going to register both your inputs perfectly at the same time, or is it going to override and pick one over the other at some points?
Yeah.
And it's just like that back and forth and finding that synergy, or like already know what the guy is thinking. And I really like when that element starts to build up, where I'm all like, yeah, tourniquet. They're like, oh, they know what that means. Like, there's no tourniquet in the game, right? Like I said, that random, gablosh of words at someone, and they're like, I know what you mean, bro. And they go and finish off the other enemies perfectly. You're like, yeah,
nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. So that to me is a lot of fun when like you're able just to say something random or look at the person real quick and they know exactly like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's always funny when like something happens and then like you'll look at Posty and Posty doesn't look back and he's like, yeah, I know I fucked up. He's like, yep, that was me. I did that.
Oh my gosh. Because like it's one of those things too where it's like we both try to learn what was going on there.
Yeah.
Because how do we make sure to avoid that or to improve upon it so we can utilize that, right? So sometimes I'll look over and I'm like, okay, does he know that was not what we wanted to do? Or vice versa. I'm sure when he looks over at me, my only issue is I'm more in front of him with my setup. Yeah. So if he looks over at me and I don't know, I can't see it as well because he's just a smidge behind my peripheral. Versus when I look at him, you know, obviously I'm turning back. So that's not it's like, what? Hello? What are you doing over there? Did you take a nap? Yeah, I was reading chat. God dang it.
I was reading chat. We're doing a run here. I don't care.
I know they're beautiful people, but come on. We're doing so good. Oh, my goodness. So now, let's talk about that a little bit, the whole learning each other aspect. I know you are very fond of this next topic, and I'm going to let you go ahead and
I love this next topic.
Let you roll with it here.
So, beautiful folks, segue. We're getting better at these.
I'm telling you, learning speedruns, but actually understanding your learning style. You and I have completely different learning styles.
100% different.
So even though you and I would, I think, do well in a speedrun, it would be hard to find a blend of how we do it.
Yeah. Ours would definitely be, you learn your part, I'll learn my part, and then we'll come together for practice.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I love learning runs. I talk to my chat all the time. They think like, because I like to learn runs more than actually do them 90% of the time.
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to say that because I remember a quote specifically from you. You said that you much rather constantly learn new runs than just be stuck grinding one all the time.
Exactly. I find that more mentally stimulating. I find it more fun to understand different tricks and different games and the different idiosyncrasies of everything put together. Like that's my favorite part. That's why I have a giant whiteboard. That's why I have a big old notebook.
Yes. I can't wait. That's an emote. You're gonna have like a 16 tier emote on like April's Fool. It's just gonna be a big old whiteboard.
It's just gonna be a giant whiteboard. That's it. It's gonna say go fast. That's it.
Oh gosh. Because like, yeah, I remember my favorite moment of learning about your whiteboard usage was when you started speedrunning Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing it even in the background too. Like I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
What is he doing?
Like, this is pretty cool. And I can't remember if you used it before that, but I do remember roughly around then.
Yeah, that's when I started incorporating it more, just because that has so much text and it's such a long run. And I am in my learning styles, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm a very hands-on. I need to incorporate body movement into it. I need to write it down while standing up, or like I need to actually write things down.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
I can't just type it on a notepad on a computer, even though that's technically like more efficient or whatever. I don't learn that way.
Okay. A lot of tactile response for you there.
Yeah. That's what, like, sometimes I write things down just to write it down because it'll commit it to memory more so than just typing it on a notepad that I can forget about.
That makes sense. Like for me, my big thing is I try to first watch a run, right? Because that's probably how I got the idea that I wanted to speedrun that game, you know? Not always, but sometimes. Yeah. And then I just dive in. I go and I play. And then finally, when there's not an improvement from just playing the game and just naturally getting better at understanding either the button inputs, you know, the physics of jumping in certain scenarios, you know, what way do you want to hold the D-pad? Because that's going to be more advantageous than holding it in another position.
Yeah.
Sometimes certain button combos, you're going to actually want to hit them at the same exact time or one after the other. And sometimes one's more efficient than the other in different scenarios. I need to play the game a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
some of that kinesthetic coming out too, the learn by doing.
Yeah, learn by doing. And then after that, for me, I do a lot of watching videos. You know, like I'll go back and watch. Yeah, and I'll see what they're doing. So I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what you're doing. All right. Doesn't mean I figure it out right away per se, but that starts imprinting in my head. Okay, so that means you know that you're giving up. You're not doing X amount of tricks here. You're given X amount of time. Don't feel bad about that. Just know that's there for another point in time.
Yeah.
But which ones can you apply now? Oh, you take that route. Awesome. I'm going to start applying that route now. Like a big one for me that it made a huge difference in by just watching over and over and over again was Zelda Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
That's my longest run that I have ever done, which is, you know, nothing compared to your longest run, but it was still a lot, right? And it's like, don't go the wrong route.
Yeah.
You go the wrong screen transitions, and now you lost 2 minutes. It's like, dude, I only went 2 screens to the right, but like it takes forever for it to load over, load over. Even though it's really not that long, but speedrunning wise, it's forever.
It's forever, yeah.
So when it comes to your learning style, right, did that mesh well with your co-op partner?
It meshed a lot better than I thought it was.
Awesome. Okay.
He's a bit, it's also like, because he's another speedrunner too.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that helps a lot.
Retired speedrunner. So
yeah, retired. Ooh, we're taking him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got some skills with that mouth you got. You know, you're talking some soothsaying into this guy's ear.
I rattled him out of the pasture. I took him back in. Wake up, Papa Waldo. We're going back.
I don't want it. I want to sleep some more.
We're going.
I'm finally sleeping for the first time in my life. Leave me alone.
But we did a lot of our learning just on the fly because we did about 2 weeks of practice before we actually did it online for the first time.
That is cool because I know that you've tried to do other co-op things before and you've done tons of practice and then still never got a run in.
Yeah.
And that to me would be the most defeating feeling. It's all this practice and not at least just one run, even if you don't turn it in the leaderboards or nothing. You just know that you guys, cool. We beat the game in an hour. We beat the game in an hour and a half, whatever it is, right? And then that would just be so like, hey, cool. At least we did something for all this practice, you know?
Yeah, so I'd say that our learning styles meshed really well together because for what I didn't know, he would have already taken notes on for, right? So we kind of picked the slack up for each other.
That is cool.
Then I'm good at reminding him like, oh, we need to do this here.
Okay,
like, or are you ready?
I like that. Yes, because like those little cues add up real quickly. Especially like I'm assuming from what because I never played RE5 myself personally, so I don't have this visual of beginning to end of what I should expect to see in that game. But I just know from playing Resident Evil games that there is so much. I guess the dialogue isn't terribly long depending which title we're talking about, but. Are you both having to spam through the buttons on that?
Yeah,
we are on remote play, right? So like my brain doesn't picture it the same as like when every time.
So like there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. So like we both like we're still figuring out what they are too, but we both have to mash escape to skip the cutscenes.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll mash it too early and I'll be like, Waldo, it's there. Just fucking hit the escape button. And sometimes it's the other way around.
Right. No, because that's like there's times where like. I'll be doing something. I'll be like, Posey, I need you to mash right now for me. Quick, I got to switch my hands around or something, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, I got you. Or I'm taking a drink of water, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, that's the worst. Oh, I thought I had time for water here. No, I did not have time for water here.
Did not. And it's tough, you know, because like you start to feel so comfortable with certain sections. You're like, I totally can. And then you you don't realize it's like, no, you're not that fast at drinking water. You know what I mean? Like, have a second.
You really start realizing how long other things take when you start speedrunning.
It's true. You're like, how can I be more efficient at drinking water? Okay, I'm going to prep it by buffering, by taking the cap off early. Okay, I took in that section. All right, in this section, I'm going to tip the water bottle up. All right, holding it with my elbow. Oh, God, I spilled it.
It's everywhere.
Damn it. No. But when it comes to these co-op speedruns and the learning style, do you feel that currently for you two that the limits are boundless or endless, so to speak? Or do you feel there will be a time that it'll be tough to, on let's say this particular speed run, that you guys might hit a wall?
I don't think we'll hit a wall.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay, cool.
And from what we've seen, our goal is to take the world record at this point.
Okay. Awesome.
Because that's just what we want. We both watched it, and that's how we learned it was from the world record run. But like we know we know how to optimize it. We know where our shortcomings are. And
all right.
After our first couple runs, we're like 15 minutes off already. So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's so, because it's not a short run.
No, it's like an hour and a half, hour 40. I think hour
so
38, I think, is the world record or something
15
like
minutes
that.
is doable.
Yeah.
You know, like in that sense, like versus, let's say it's a 30-minute speed run, right? Well, now 15 minutes is a lot.
Yeah, 15 minutes is a ton of time. Yeah.
Right? You're at a 45 and you're trying to get down to that 30. You're like, dang, this is okay. It's going to be tough.
There's a lot of I felt that one was fast, and I'm still how many minutes off?
And great examples. Posty and I dabbled a little bit outside of Turtles 4 and Turtles 3, and we feel like we did a pretty good time on the North American version where you're not allowed to change your lives. You're just set with 3 to start out with. And we got like a 43-37, maybe something around that time. And that felt pretty darn good. And we know it could be a little bit better. Yeah. But the world record is sub 34 minutes. And it's like, jeez. You know, like that is so far away.
Where do they get 12 minutes?
So, and we see where they get it, but now that's when you get to the point of in the run, you don't get it right, you have to reset because you are taking advantage of very specific sprite frames. Because they basically what they do is they turn a turtle into a ghost turtle. So now the game still lets you have 2 turtles, but the game
you don't have
assumes
a hitbox,
one.
Huh? Yeah,
one of them doesn't, and it keeps on attacking that. The other character that's not there. So therefore you're able to always see them clump in one area, attack all of them because you know they're going towards that specific turtle. The bosses have half health going forward because they
only register one turtle. Yeah,
but
that's neat.
If that turtle dies just one time only, now that's gone.
Ooh.
So you're doing this. Neither turtle can die at all from there on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, now the ghost turtle thing drops. But like Posty was saying to me, he's like, dude, but we could try it because even if we get a little bit of time save on it, when we're practicing it, it wouldn't be the worst. I'm like, you're right. So someday we'll do that. But that shows you, it's like, where do they get this 12? This huge advantage.
That's a big chunk of time.
And that's you get by studying these other runs.
That's where it comes into like segmented practice too.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I totally can kill my turtle off, and it's going to be glitched in as like a ghost turtle. Totally.
Ghost turtle.
No, what? But segmented practice. So, are you guys able to do segmented practice with your setup?
With the way that I had to beat the game first and actually save it.
Okay.
So we had to do that, but yeah, we can do. But it's like. It's a short enough run too that it's not too bad us running through it.
Yeah.
And the segmented practice in this sort of run doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, is there no big glitches?
There's no big glitches. No.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So there's and the only they're not even glitches. I'd clarify them as tricks.
Okay.
And whatnot,
Yeah.
Just because it's one of them's like a clever grenade toss to break a lock that you're not supposed to get.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It's in it's the second or third level that we do it in, and he tosses a grenade and it blows up the lock, and it saves almost 5 minutes from going all the way around.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, but it's a tricky grenade toss, so we had to keep reloading on that until he got a good visual cue and stuff like that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So the nicest part about this run is if we do screw up majorly, we can just reload.
We
can just reload and try it again real quick. Right up until we're losing time.
How cool!
So I found that super neat.
That's a cool thing, especially when you're learning.
Yeah, it's so nice when we're learning
because that way you're not getting defeated. Like, oh, I screwed up. It's over, man. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
And you feel this guilt towards your teammate. Like, I screwed up, man.
Yeah, I messed up. I do that a lot.
Me. Sorry.
This is my first RE game running ever, and Waldo's been learning and running a bunch of RE games lately too. So he's already accustomed to the mechanics, and I'm playing catch up here.
Yes, I bet. I was gonna say, 'cause I've seen him running a ton of different ones. So when he came in, he was saying running one with you. I just started throwing off all these other ones. I was wrong on every single one. He's like, you're right, I run that one, but no, not that. I'm like,
but no, not that one.
Dang it. Come on, Waldo, work with me. Make me look like a fool.
Yeah. So segmented practice didn't make sense for that one. Other games that I've done segmented practice, like Banjo-Kazooie, that's a great one for segmented practice.
That makes sense.
Like going stage by stage, going trick by trick, and just getting more accustomed to the movement and stuff like that. Because a death in one of those levels, if you have 99 notes, is a travesty.
Does that mean you reset all your notes?
You have to do the entire stage over again.
Yep. So that makes a difference. That's why you would have to do the segmented practice.
Yeah.
In that regard, just like why Posty and I had to do segmented practice on the wrong warp for turtles.
Yeah.
Because now the world record runs down to 1942. Yeah. But a 2-minute difference on your run on a sub 20-minute run now, that's a huge difference if you don't get the wrong warp.
Yeah.
And then do the subsequent tricks after that, which aren't too complicated, but if you don't know them, then obviously they're available, such as double wrath. Hell yes.
Yeah. But that's all because of the wrong warp.
All because of the wrong warp, so you have to get it right. And then like when you see people do it, you're like, oh, easy. You gonna do it? Oh my god. What the heck?
What's going on? I'm so
stupid game. You're screwing me, game. You don't even know me, man.
Those guys are cheating. They're not playing the game the right way. They're awful people.
Gosh, darn you, devs. Like, what the hell? You're supposed to make it so I always get the frame perfect. Come on.
Always.
Is that a frame perfect trick channel? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's kind of like 3 or 4 frames. Yeah.
Still hard to hit though. That like,
and I love the suggestions. Individuals will have like, "Oh, have you thought about this?" I'm all like, "Yeah," and it's just it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. Like you're so awesome for wanting to help me, but like I don't want to tell you that it doesn't work like that.
I don't want to tell you.
I always feel like, dang, no, good suggestion, but no.
But no, yeah, that's not how this.
How about if you damage boost this way? No. It's not chipping down.
No. Lemon pledge. No, lemon pledge. No.
And it's just like there's so often where people have these great insights, and every now and then someone will say something where you're like, wait a second. That gets my mind thinking. And so then you're able to take it from there. So that's why I never discourage anyone from telling me anything. My thing that happens is when someone suggests something to me and then, explain why that wouldn't work or whatever. And then the very next week when they're watching the run again, they say the same thing. And you're like,
hey.
Wait, hold on. Do you really want to know the answer to this? Or are you just asking the same question?
We just went over this. We've gone over this before.
You're here every Sunday to watch this specific game. Sunday. How do you not know that that's the answer to this question by now?
We've entered the Twilight Zone.
Or it's like that 51st Dates or whatever. You know? It's like, that's their week always starts over right then. Hey, General, have you ever tried this? I'm like, what?
No. Yes,
I know your whole family. What are you talking about? We've already been over this. What?
Yeah.
I've never met you my whole life.
When I first started learning Ocarina of Time, if it wasn't another runner, I would get a lot of that. I'm like, well, have you tried, maybe that frame or that frame? I'm like, no, do you understand what a frame perfect trick means? It means it only works on this one frame.
Like if I could show you the still shot, easily, I would just do it so you could see it.
I usually do. I'll pull up the video, I'll pause it. I'm like, here, it only works here.
Cool. Yeah, I'm more like, no, just guys, don't worry. We'll just reset it. Whatever happens. It happens. It's a run. It's for fun anyways. No worries.
But Flip, it only runs at 20 frames per second. That should be free. Yeah, but if there's 40 freaking frame perfect tricks in a run, is it really easier if it's 20 frames per second? I don't think it is.
It's funny with the rationalizing on some of the stuff. Like, what you're saying doesn't even make sense. I'm like, dude, do you speedrun the game? Just please try it.
Do you speedrun the game?
Then I will want to know.
Doors right there.
Like I will want to know your answer, but like if you don't run the game, like don't get mad at me that like I don't think your suggestion is gonna work. Like I feel like, or I'll try it even.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I mean, you just didn't do it right.
You
I didn't do my trick right either. That's why we're stuck here. So I'm stuck in this damn wall right now, and I'm not supposed to be.
It's because they learn differently.
Exactly, and I'm glad you bring that up because different.
And they only have 2
styles.
of the things too. They've only got visual and auditory from a stream too, which doesn't help unless you have an input display, which I know neither of us have.
No, I don't. I would like to have one on there. It's just like eventually you start to get to the point where it starts to get so crowded.
Yeah.
You start to really like your layout or
and everything,
the way everything is. You're like, okay, this is not too cluttered here. Okay, I'll put a little bit of sponsor thing in this corner over here. All right, that's not bad. All right, cool. Then it's like, wait, oh shoot, people want to see
where do I put this?
I don't want to put that on top of the gameplay. My hat already hangs into the gameplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or when I get really excited, I lean forward. It's like, all right, get that face into that corner of the gameplay. Yeah, mash that button.
Get it.
I tell you, it's so interesting. The games that I don't mind mashing, and other games I'm like, no,
please no.
Like Mega Man X, first level. I am so done with that mash on that level.
That ruins the whole game for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one level?
The first level is so treacherously annoying to have to reset if you don't get the proper. I'm not sure if it's proper BRNG or not. Maybe it's movement specific.
If you're going for that, yeah, like it can be. And like there are safeties that you can do as well, but like it's still like
huge.
Because then after that, you've still got half a penguin stage to go to just walk through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like literally, it's like 3-4 minutes in, it's like, oh, now you get to go fast. Cool. And
correct. And like, let's say you're doing some of the fast tricks on things like Storm Eagle's level, which is similar to Airman and Mega Man 2, where you're risking constant death by making these huge fast jumps, into nothingness. And you landed it because you timed it just right. And so you go and die because you're going fast, it was going good. It's like, oh no, now I got to not just reset the run because everything's all out of whack. Now I've also got to walk because there is no dash until I get to Chill Penguin.
That's why we should just run X2 instead.
That's a good point. Because X2, you start off with it.
You start off with a dash. The intro is like a minute long, and like that's it. You're done. You're into the game.
See, that's really nice. Because Mega Man X 100%. I love the game after Chill Penguin's level.
Yeah.
But up until then, I'm just like, no, this is so frustrating. And at first, when I was first learning, it was fine. But now I've gotten to a point where it's not just learning, and you'd want to improve your time by quite a bit. I'm like,
yeah,
no thanks.
Yeah, it's like, nah, I'm good.
And again, it's why I like the co-op speedrunning, because I've been able to find titles that I don't have that feeling for, right? Because like I know people liked watching Mega Man X 100%, but then you don't want to get stuck playing something because only other people want to do it and you don't want to do it at all.
Oh yeah, you know me.
That is not a fun little thing to be stuck in. And so it's just why I've enjoyed co-op speedrun is to be able to find titles, and then obviously the enthusiasm of the other person, because sometimes you're coming to it and you're feeling pretty good, but the other person is just juiced to go, and that's
you feed off that energy. Yeah,
that team camaraderie feel again, right? Because I used to play team sports. Like I liked doing team sports back in the day when I was growing up. It's like, dude, okay, yeah, you do this, I do that. All right, cool. And now it's the same thing, but with speedrunning.
Yeah, that's the nice part.
Absolutely. You know what else the nice part is having this conversation of speedrunning with you on this wonderful freaking podcast.
Oh, it's so good every week.
Isn't it?
This has been nice.
It's just been super chill for me.
Yeah, same. It's been so good. I even came prepared with a topic. Like I was ready.
That blew me away. Folks, this guy is on top of his game. It's like he's a speedrunner that has learned the way that he needs to learn.
Because usually it's like 10 minutes before he'll be like, you got a topic? And I'm like, nope.
No, I'm all like, so trying to like not tell him mine, like make him like, messed up or anything. I'm like, okay, sorry, I got mine. Oh, don't tell him. This time I was like, no, I'm just gonna throw mine out there or whatever. And you're like, yep, I got it. I'm like, what?
Wow, here it is. Boom.
I'm like, that was a rocket launcher. Nice shot.
Nailed it. Quick scope.
It.
Just like this ending. We'll be back again next week. This is episode 5 of season 2. And yeah, love you all. Dreamers.
Thank you, Dreamers.
Flamling
out there. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.